Thank you for turning to page 121. Today we're going to jump into Unearthed Arcana, and we're going to take a look at a magic ring that is pretty common at my table. Now, I don't know about common, but I've given out several over the years. It's the Ring of Faerie. Why have we given it out? Well, I'll go into that in a minute. There we go. This specially dweomed ring is given by the Grey Elves to their closest associates and allies only. Each ring is aligned either toward evil, 5%, good, 75%, or neutrality, 20%. It enables the wearer to perform certain functions as if he or she were an elf. Concealment in woodlands is such that the wearer can be detected only by those creatures able to detect invisible objects. That's a good power. If alone and not in metal armor, the wearer can move silently with a 66 2/3% chance of success, enabling him or her to achieve surprise on a roll of 1 to 4 on a die 6. An attempt to move silently will succeed on a roll of 1 to 67. If the number rolled is 68 or higher, the noise generated by the wearer's movement will be discernible up to that number of feet away from the individual. That's kind of neat. I take the difference, of course, between the two. So if I rolled, for instance, a 70 and I need a 67, it would only be discernible 3 feet away. But it's really funny when you roll like 99 and you're dealing with 33 feet. Now, what were you doing that you were sneaking silently? You can be heard 33 feet away. You know, you moving a piano and dropped it. What was going on? So that's kind of fun. That can end up being a lot of fun to roleplay. Infravision to a range of 60 feet is bestowed by the ring. Concealed doors are noted 16 2/3% of the time. That's a 1 on die 6 when going past them. 50% of the time when actively searched for. And secret doors are found 33 1/3% of the time, 1 to 2 on a die 6, when actively searched for. Rings of an alignment not corresponding to that of the wearer will not function. So why were these fairly common to give out? And why are they? I still have players at my table that have these. Well, infravision being the main reason. Infravision to a range of 60 feet is bestowed by the ring. It was one of the few ways to actually grant a non-humanoid or elf, dwarf, halfling the ability to see infravision, half-orc. You could see through infravision, so you'd give this to a human. These are especially good, I've found, in the possession of human magic users because they aren't wearing armor. They can move very silently with the ring on, and they have infravision to 60 feet. Now, infravision as a means to explore the dungeon, I examined other videos. I think I did one on the infravision spell. But basically, infravision is great because you discern the differences in heat, and that tells you where something is. So if you see a monster down the hallway, there's an ogre down the hallway, you see him with infravision, he radiates hotter than the surroundings. The problem is, at least at my table, you can't see pits or any kind of mechanical trap or anything just hanging from the ceiling because it's the same temperature, almost exactly the same temperature as the area around it. Therefore, the infravision doesn't work too well. Also, a lot of undead won't show up in infravision except as really, really dark areas of cold. So I make infravision kind of a tricky thing in my dungeons, but for the most part, I just kind of hand wave it and say, okay, you can see. So it's a good way to get rid of that one player who doesn't have infravision. It's a good way to get rid of that holding your party back. You go ahead and you give it to them, or to that one person, and all of a sudden they can see with infravision, and you can have the party go forward and not use a light as often and stuff like that. So that's really one of the best uses of the ring. But the other is, it's a good way for you as a DM to kind of move a story forward. Since they're usually only given by friends to elves, you can do a story where your human player is awarded because he helped the elves rid themselves of some menace or whatever, and they gifted him a Ring of Faerie for that. You can also have them found just in dungeons or the old looting of corpses and such. You can have the rings found that way. I've given them out that way as well. But Ring of Faerie is a really good ring when you have that one human in the party, and maybe that one human's feeling a little overwhelmed by lots of other elf or dwarf characters that are in the group who have all these other, quote, superpowers, unquote, and here's this baseline human. So it's kind of a good way for a DM to overcome some of that. It can also just be a good reward for good roleplay. Rings of Faerie, I believe, are 1,000 experience points. Again, I forgot to look this up before I started doing the video, but that's okay. That's what I usually do. Ring of Faerie, 1,000 experience points, and 7,500 gold. So I would pay a lot more than that if I could see in the dark, but that's me. So that's really it for Ring of Faerie. I like this item. It's a really good item to give out to kind of level the playing field if you have one human who's feeling kind of left out of things. It's a way to kind of level that a little bit. But it's also only 1,000 experience points when you give it out, so it's a good lower level ring. I've given this ring out at very low levels. So even once or twice I've given it out in first level games because it's not going to level anybody up. Incidentally, as far as leveling up through experience points, if you have a really good first outing with, say, a thief levels up on 1,201 experience points. Not impossible for a thief to go into second level in an early game or very first game. I limit how much I will let my players go up in one night. So if I'm going to be doing a dungeon where for whatever reason there's going to be a lot of experience points, I make it clear you can only go 1 point into your next level. So if you're second level, you go 1 point into third, and that's it. All the others are lost. It's just kind of how I've done it, and it's worked pretty well. As long as I tell my players beforehand, I've never had any pushback. So the Ring of Faerie can be a really good item to give out. A nice low-level item if you want to give it low. Otherwise, it's good at really any time in the character's progression up until they can start casting spells. If they're magic users, they can start casting spells that will give them infravision. I think infravision is a third-level spell, so you'd have to be 7th level to cast it. But I like this ring, and I think it has a lot of uses. Let me know how you've done it, and leave comments below. If you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe. Tell your friends to keep growing the channel. Also, please take a look at the Patreon, see if there's anything you can do to help me out there. And that's all I got today on page 121. Thanks for your time, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.